This is the Canon FD 135mm f2.8 lens. This was made in around 1979, so it's over 40 years old, and this is one of my most favourite vintage lenses of all time, and here's why. So you've seen what this lens can do, let's just take a closer look at it itself. Just a note, this is not a tech channel. Yes, I make videos about tech, but the main things on here are supposed to be outdoors and running, but I'm a full-time commercial filmmaker, so I'm really into tech, so that's why every now and then I'll feature something. And this, I just love this lens so much because I've just used it so much over the last few years. Now, I do have a whole collection of vintage lenses. I've got a 35, I've got an 85, I've got a 50, I've got a whole collection of vintage Canon FD lenses. They're all around 40 years old, and I'll use them for projects where I want to slow down, take a more filmmaking approach to it. I'll rig out the whole camera, I'll add a follow focus. I might have storyboards that I'm trying to match, and I find just using vintage lenses just gets you to slow down a little bit and be more considerate when you don't have autofocus anymore. But this one is special because I use this all the time. There's a front element on it there. It's nice, it's clean, it's bright. If you're looking to buy one of these, try and make sure the elements are clean. That's the front, that's the rear. So my copy is nice and clean, even though this is 40 years old. But look at the size of this. It is so tiny. That's all. It's minuscule. I mean, this is smaller than a can of Coke, but this is 135mm at f2.8 in my hands. And if you use it with the Sony A7S Mark III and use like the clear image zoom to 1.5, this makes this like a 200mm equivalent as well. To get that focal length at that brightness, typically you're looking at a 70-200 f2.8, which size-wise is probably close to this. You're looking something closer to this size. I mean, look at the difference in size, and price-wise, a 70-200 will set you back like £1,500. This you can pick up for between $50 and $100 on eBay, and it's just so nice to have something this size that you can just fit in your pocket, chuck into your kit bag, and have along with you. All of the footage that you saw earlier was all shot with equipment that fits into this bag. You try get the 70-200mm in there. I find 135 is just a really nice focal length for getting that compressed telephoto look, a different style of footage that you can mix in with other imagery. And with how little space this takes up in your camera bag, it is such a no-brainer. And then combined with the fact that the Sony A7S Mark III, if you use that lens with that camera, has active image stabilization in it. So all those shots were handheld as well. It was all stabilized in camera. So how do you actually use this lens with a mirrorless camera? Now, you can adapt lenses like this to any camera. In my case, it's to the Sony E-mount system. And originally I used one of these. This is the Canon Concept FD to Sony adapter, and it works perfectly fine. But recently Canon brought out these. This is a new range of adapter specifically designed with that Sony copper band up here, so it matches really, really well onto the front of a full frame Sony camera. So all you do to use this is you put this to, you set it to open on the side there, line up your red dots, connect in, twist, and then flip the little dial over to lock. And there you go. And now you can see I've got aperture control all the way from f2.8 to f32. Then I can attach it straight on to the camera. And there we go. That in my hand is giving me the same kind of look and feel as you get from a 70 to 200, and that is why I love this combination so much. It's absolutely tiny. Now, to shoot with it, you need to remember a couple of things. One, the lens can't communicate with the camera, and it doesn't have autofocus, so it is all manual focus on the front here. And for exposure, what I do is, you can either you can shoot in full manual and set everything yourself for every shot, or what I like to do is, I'll set it into manual. I'll set the shutter speed to basically be whatever I want to use for the shutter speed. So if I'm shooting like 100 frames per second slow motion, I'll set the shutter speed to like 200 or 250. And then I'll leave the ISO on automatic, and the camera will automatically throttle the exposure. That's how I shot most of that footage earlier, and I can work away with it. So what I actually use this for, well, typically if I'm doing client projects, I tend to be using like a 24 to 70, something like that. It tends to be often quite run and gun, and sometimes I'll want a little bit more telephoto reach, but I'll not necessarily want to bring a huge lens with me. Chuck this in my bag, put it on, and it lets me grab a few extra shots. It is a nicely made lens. It's got like the white and the green lettering on it, and I like the way they're embossed. They're not just printed on there, they're embossed in and filled in color on the surface. It's got a nice, it has a nice click to it. And the focus wheel is nice and big as well, nice, big and smooth and easy to work with. Now you'll have seen from the video how sharp it is at f2.8. For me, it's actually perfectly sharp enough to use for video. It's maybe slightly softer for stills, but if you step this down to like f4, it gets even sharper. I mean, one thing is with video that you don't actually need the lens to be as sharp as it is for stills. The fact that you're getting a nice background blur contrast with the in-focus subject to make it feel sharper than it is. So I find the f2.8 on this is perfectly usable, and it is just amazing to have a little telephoto lens that gets you the look of like a 70 to 200 in a package that's that size. So yeah, for me this lens is an absolute no-brainer if you're shooting on a mirrorless camera. If you're shooting a micro four thirds, it actually doubles up, so it becomes like an equivalent to 270 f2.8 on full on micro four thirds, which is incredible as well, just given the size of it. If you are going to buy one, check the listing, check for photographs, make sure you can see the elements, make sure it says it's clear of fungus, and just be prepared that you might buy a dud one before you get a good one. Just try and get ones that are as good as condition as possible, and to be honest, you can't possibly be disappointed with this little lens. Hope you enjoyed this tech video on my non-tech channel. As I said, go around, have a look around the channel, see if there's anything else you'd like to look at. Feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, which I think is going to be about immersing yourself in nature. You put it over there, and then you'll be behind me at the start. Okay, and then you sit on it. It's at a funny angle now. Okay, and sit down. Red lights are escaping! You can sit down anytime now. Sun's coming out again. Right, ready?
Oh, yo, that's not stable at all.
Okay. Good. Right, try and get more.